प्रेजेंटेड बाय ईबिक्स कैश, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
Good evening and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the headlines tonight. NITI Aayog joins Petroleum Ministry in seeking excise cuts, puts the onus of reducing petrol and diesel prices squarely on the Finance Ministry. Market extends losses to a third day. Sensex down over 300 points. Nifty ends below 18,200. IT, metal, realty drag the index. Business Today exclusive. Maharashtra-based tycoon Nikhil Merchant leads the race for acquiring Reliance Naval. Plans to build frontline warships and submarines at the shipyard once it comes out of bankruptcy court. India scripts history as the country crosses 100 crore vaccination milestone. We'll get you an exclusive conversation with both Adar Poonawalla of Serum and Krishna of Bharat Biotech. Even as politicians call for India to pull out of the clash with Pakistan in Dubai, thousands of crores of advertising at stake. Well, first, news on petrol and diesel prices. NITI Aayog has joined the Petroleum Ministry in lobbing the ball in the Finance Ministry court. Amitabh Kant, the CEO of NITI Aayog, today made it clear that it was up to the Finance Ministry to ease the burden on the common man by reducing the excise duty on petroleum products. However, the Finance Ministry does not seem to be in the mood to lose any of its revenues. Ministry sources told Business Today TV that an excise duty cut was not on the cards yet. Officials say that reducing excise would not help as international crude prices are rising every day.
Recommendations to the Finance Ministry regarding excise cut to have some reduction in fuel prices?
Those will be examined. You know, these are international markets. I'm quite sure Finance Ministry will look into this issue as we go along, surely.
Okay, I have both Chetan Bhutani and Karishma Asudani joining us on the show tonight to take us through all the various factors at play here and the different messaging we are getting from both the ministries. Chetan, let me come to you first. You actually spoke with Amitabh Kant. You've got NITI Aayog's point of view. They seem to be quite confident that an excise cut is on the offing.
Abha, absolutely. The word coming from Amitabh Kant is significantly important because you should consider that Amitabh Kant is NITI Aayog CEO and a very powerful bureaucrat in the administration. So a word coming from NITI Aayog means that there are some discussions in the government regarding giving relief to the customers. Remember, the crude prices are at all-time high, and the government of India has also, in fact, reached out to OPEC nations, all producing nations, to increase the supply of crude and fuel. But you should also remember that such a move could probably give a very little relief to the consumers because, as you mentioned before, the prices of crude are at all-time high.
Absolutely, and they seem to be rising every day. Karishma, you've heard differently though. Tell us, is the Finance Ministry showing any signs of relenting? Could they take another look at this issue given the kind of pressure this is going to put on the common man especially?
Abha, it is definitely under examination, and that is the word which is also coming from NITI Aayog, which sources from Finmin tell Business Today TV that there is no plan as of yet by the Finance Ministry to take a call on excise cut because let us also measure certain dynamics here. It's going to directly impact the expenditure cap that government has set for the fiscal, and if the government goes for a cut, how benefit is it going to be for the consumers, keeping in mind that the crude prices are really on a rocket high, and if the government goes for a cut, the states will also go for a rise when it comes to VAT in order to maintain their revenue targets. So you see, it is a circle round there. While the government is examining, they're not very keen on a cut right now. They're wanting the prices to stabilize.
All right, Karishma, Chetan, thank you both for joining us. Third straight session of losses for equity markets. The Nifty down nearly 400 points. That's about 2.3%. Remember, it touched a peak of 18,604 in the week so far. Continued to see volatility in trade today. However, the Nifty bounced back from a low of 18,048, finally settling at about 18,178. That's down about 88 points for the session. Sensex was down about 300 points for the session at 60,923. Private sector banks, along with stocks like BPCL, Tata Motors, Coal India, helping the Nifty recoup some of those losses. Among the sectoral indices, the S&P BSE Bankex, Private Bank Index, PSU Index and Auto Index all gained between 0.5 to 2%, while the BSE IT, Metal, Telecom, Realty and Consumer Discretionary Index lost between 1.5 to 2.5%. Among the individual stocks, IRCTC recovered some of its losses witnessed in previous sessions, closing the day up 3% in trade. Top laggards on your screen as well: Asian Paints, Hindalco, Infi, RIL, TCS, some of the big names that were on the losing side today. Top of the charts, however, Kotak Bank up 7%, Tata Motors another 4.5% higher there. Grasim, HDFC and BPCL managed to perform well today. Now, a big Business Today TV exclusive. A consortium led by Gujarat and Maharashtra-based tycoon Nikhil V. Merchant is leading the race to acquire the debt-laden Reliance Naval and Engineering Limited, originally known as Pipavav Shipyard. Sources have told Business Today TV that Merchant, who has a $1 billion LNG port and regasification terminal project coming up adjacent to the shipyard, is the force behind the 2,400 crore rupee bid by Hazel Mercantile. The low-profile and astute businessman, who is the managing director of Swan Energy, is said to have plans to build frontline warships and submarines at the shipyard once it comes out of bankruptcy court. The other bidders included a Dubai-based NRI who offered lenders only 100 crore rupees. The second, slightly higher bid of 400 crore rupees was put in by steel tycoon Naveen Jindal's group. Let's go across to Chetan Bhutani for more details on this and who's really emerging as the frontline bidder.
Well, Reliance Naval could soon see a debt resolution. What we are given to understand from our sources is the fact that Nikhil Merchant's consortium is an active lead to acquire the debt-ridden company. In fact, Reliance Naval owes banks about 12,000 crore rupees. In fact, IDBI Bank and SBI Bank are in fact the major consortium of banks who has the maximum exposure. In fact, our sources tell us that SBI's exposure to Reliance Naval is about 1,900 odd crore rupees. In fact, Reliance Naval's bid has been fetched about 2,400 crore rupees by Nikhil Merchant's consortium and 400 crore rupees by Jindal Group. So definitely the lenders are also, I'm told by my sources, are very keen on closing this. In fact, because you'll remember ABG Shipyard and Bharti Shipyard eventually went into liquidation as the bidding process completely failed. So in times to come, we could expect the consortium led by Nikhil Merchant eventually winning the race for Reliance Naval.
A historic feat achieved as India administers over 100 crore vaccine doses. As India scales Mount Billion, the Prime Minister salutes COVID warriors, calling it a triumph of Indian science. In an exclusive interaction, Serum Institute's chief, Adar Poonawalla, talks about vaccinating the world. With India restarting the export of vaccines, will the country play a pivotal role in protecting the world from COVID? Listen in to what Adar Poonawalla had to say.
We took advances from a lot of countries, which then we had to return some of that, when we said we need more time to supply. But that's what we're looking forward to now. That's the final frontier where we get back to vaccinating the rest of the world, especially the low and middle income countries where only 3% of Africa is vaccinated, because we need to be able to provide these $3 vaccines compared to what else is available to them. And they're really counting on us and on India.
Are you convinced that your commitment under the COVAX global sharing effort, you'll be able to sort of match all those commitments? Because for months, India didn't export vaccines. Do you see that now picking up over the next few months?
Absolutely. The Honorable Health Minister in India announced that, yes, exports will resume. We're waiting to see the stock position in India, which, as I told you, is very good. You've got more than 3 weeks worth of stock, vaccine stock, compared to the vaccination rate of India at the moment. So you've got a good buffer being built up. And as that buffer keeps building up with other Indian vaccine manufacturers also scaling up.
We also spoke to the top boss of Bharat Biotech, Krishna. He spoke to us about the delay in WHO's nod to Covaxin and the much-awaited vaccine for kids. Listen in.
Dr. Ella, despite giving all sorts of data to the WHO, there's still been an inordinate delay in giving Covaxin that required approval. And even as we speak, there's a meeting that's going to come up. But I want to know from you, is there hope that this time will be the time that Indians who have trusted a safe vaccine like Covaxin and all the data that you've already submitted to WHO, this time will be the time that we'll get that approval for international travel and acceptance?
I mean, I just want to say, Milan, very clearly, we have 6 vaccines approved by WHO already. The company knows the regulatory system, what is the expectation by the regulatory agencies. We are familiar with it, okay? And I think we are giving all the information to WHO, whatever they require. But I should not be commenting on the regulatory process or the systems, because that is not my job. My job is to produce that, give the data to them. It is their decision to make. I'm proud to say that at least I think we're the first vaccine in the world from 2 years onwards. It has gone and clinical trial that is done. And I think we know that it's a world platform technology. So we know that it will work in children also. That is what we did, a clinical trial shown to the regulatory agency, safety and immunogenicity were shown to them, and we produced all the data. But whether it is to be, how fast is going to be implemented to children, I think NTAC committee has to take a decision, Government of India has to take a decision, and once they give a decision, and there's a private pediatricians are waiting for this vaccine also. So it's the government has to tell us what is the road map for us.
Good news for high flyers. Indian Airlines will soon be able to offer you high-speed internet even as you cruise at 38,000 feet. Public sector BSNL has tied up with global SATCOM firm Inmarsat to offer high-speed satellite internet in aircraft. This in-flight internet broadband will be available at speeds of up to 50 Mbps in the first phase. The internet service will also be available to all ships in Indian waters. The first airline to offer this service in India will be SpiceJet. That's before the end of this year. Business Today TV spoke to SpiceJet's Ajay Singh about this plan.
We have tied up with Inmarsat and our new aircraft, the MAX aircraft, are equipped to provide broadband internet to our passengers. And now with the clearance yesterday of the gateway, the Inmarsat gateway, we are very hopeful that over the next few weeks, the MAX aircraft as they fly, passengers who travel by that will get full internet, broadband internet access on board.
The SpiceJet promoter has also confirmed what was widely discussed as industry gossip. In an exclusive conversation with Business Today TV, Ajay Singh also indicated that he had bid for Air India not as a serious bidder, but more for the cause of supporting the airline's disinvestment plans. Listen in.
Firstly, I think it was a great honor for us to participate and be one of the 2 bidders for Air India. And we are happy that we participated because also, in a single bid situation, it would have been difficult for government to disinvest Air India. I think great congratulations to the government for the successful disinvestment. And our best wishes are with the Tatas.
Well, talking about Air India, is the sale in trouble after this comment? Let's go across to Krishna Gopalan, Deputy Editor at Business Today magazine. Krishna, what do you make of the comment that we heard from Ajay Singh, the fact that he indicated it was really more about ensuring that there was at least 2 bidders for Air India?
Well, having spoken to the legal fraternity, it seems pretty clear that the process is not in any sense of jeopardy, simply because if any bidder has managed to fulfill the basic technical requirements, and if he's not been forced to put in a bid, there's absolutely no question of process being affected. So the way the fraternity sees it is that the Tata bid will hold out and the process is very much on track.
All right, Krishna, thanks for that quick perspective. Cheer for the Indian real estate market, which is among the worst affected sectors during the pandemic, with people finally stepping out of their homes and the economy showing signs of a comeback. Housing sales are up, and one of the big reasons is increased affordability.
It's an early Diwali dhamaka for the COVID-battered realty sector, with macro indicators signaling a robust economic recovery. House sales and new supply numbers are on the rise. According to survey by PropTiger, house sales have seen a boom with 250% rise in the July to September quarter as compared to last year. The surge is phenomenal even compared to April to June sales, which had plunged due to the effect of the second wave. One of the biggest reasons for this is home loan interest rates, which are at a 10-year low.
Altogether, it's just the positive sentiments that's in the market. The interest rates are at an all-time low. Apart from the interest rates and the high-frequency indicators, the overall market sentiments is what we are seeing are very positive.
Although sales are seeing an uptick, there is no corresponding jump in the prices. Except for a price rally in Ahmedabad and Hyderabad, prices in other cities have been stable. The only exceptions are areas where sudden urban developments have been announced.
A recovery in the prices is already there. We're still at the 2013 levels. There hasn't been much increase in prices across the micro markets. Of course, there are certain localities, say for instance in NCR, Gurgaon, certain pockets, which do see has seen a lot of price correction. But altogether, if you see, prices have been stable across the cities.
While the property market is coming back in style, will the rally sustain? According to experts, the realty upcycle is here to stay. With housing affordability at a record high in over a decade and prices remaining stable, the outlook seems positive. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
It's one of the biggest sporting events on the calendar, an event guaranteed to bring the entire nation to a halt this Sunday evening. However, the mega India-Pakistan T20 World Cup match on the 24th is facing political opposition. Let's have a look at the kind of money that's hinging on this match.
उसको रोक देना चाहिए ऐसा धांधली हो रहा है तो आदमी जिएगा सब तो मरिए जाएगा बिहारियों को मार रहा है.
Appeal from the heart of a father who lost his son to a hail of bullets in Srinagar last week. His wish, the government refuse any sporting engagement with those backing terrorists. The appeal has found resonance with political friends and foes alike, with Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh, MIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi, RPI President Ramdas Athawale, and former Olympian turned Congressman Bharat Singh. All calling for the India-Pakistan tie to be cancelled.
Another boundary.
BCCI, however, made it clear that cancelling the match was not an option.
जहाँ तक मैच का सवाल, आपको पता है कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जो कमिटमेंट होते हैं आईसीसी के पहले भी बड़ा स्पष्ट है, उन कमिटमेंट में जो है आप किसी से खेलने से मना नहीं कर सकते हैं. तभी वो इंटरनेशनल कमिटमेंट जो आईसीसी के टूर्नामेंट होते हैं उस पर आपको खेलना पड़ता है.
TV advertisers have already pledged 65 crore rupees in commercials. Every match has 2,600 seconds of ad breaks. And these breaks are sold in slots of 10 seconds each. According to reports, the going rate for the match currently is 25 lakh rupee per slot. Other India matches are being sold at 12 to 14 lakh rupees a slot, while non-India matches are commanding just 4 lakh rupees a slot. There are also several advertisers who have committed funds only for the Indo-Pak clash. What's more, ICC could be 150 crore rupees richer if India and Pakistan clash again in the finals.
And that's it. India winning this game comfortably.
Sources tell Business Today Television that if this happens, ads will be sold at 35 to 40 lakh rupees a slot if the two arch rivals clash in the finals. Clearly, a money spinner for the cricketing body. What dwarfs this amount is the money exchanging hands reportedly in the grey betting market. Sources say thousands of crores have been bet on the match within the country, with India as the clear favourite.
Sunday's match between India and Pakistan is a mini economy. Flights between India and Dubai are completely booked. There is no space in hotels. All the rooms have been booked. In fact, stadium also has no space available. Hotels and bars have gone a step ahead and they have special viewing of the match. Everyone wants a pie of this economy. This is the first time India and Pakistan are coming out against each other in 28 months. This is Aishwarya Paliwal reporting for Business Today with camera person Parmeen Sharma.
Techtober has been an interesting month for the tech industry. While Apple announced new MacBook Pros with their new in-house chips, Google has also decided to make its own smartphone chips for the Pixel 6. Will this change the tech supply chain forever? Our tech editor Ayush Alwadi finds out.
It's been an eventful week for tech enthusiasts, with Apple launching M1 Pro and M1 Max powered MacBook Pros on Monday, and Google launching the much-awaited Pixel 6 lineup powered by Tensor, its in-house custom processor. But Apple used Intel chips in their MacBooks until last year, when they made the switch to their in-house M1 chips. Google used Qualcomm chips until yesterday in their smartphones. Now, this does cut costs, but is that the only reason behind these tech companies making the big switch?
They want to customize these chips so that the entire experience on top of it for their own product and ecosystem products, they can fine-tune it accordingly. They'll still license the architecture from the companies like ARM, Intel, and give it to manufacturing for the foundries like TSMC. But what they are technically doing here is they are designing chips in-house so that they actually control the key elements of a chip making, which is the power efficiency and the performance.
It's also important to remember that this is all happening during a global chip shortage, and tech companies have become cautious about relying on chip makers for their product launches. But it's not like companies like Intel and Qualcomm are becoming irrelevant overnight.
These companies are not sitting silent, right? And in some of the areas, these companies are almost like 4 generations ahead. So for example, talking about smartphones, someone like Qualcomm is already ahead from their competitors by almost like 4 generations. In fact, Apple still buys modem from Qualcomm. So I don't think the reliability on these traditional companies are going anywhere. The only thing what it will do is it will kickstart the pace of innovation even faster.
Now that means billions of dollars are already being invested by tech companies in research and development, and that could only lead to even more innovation. But one thing is for sure, the chip wars have officially begun. Stay tuned to Business Today TV for more.
And that's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks so much for watching.